Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from podweather.com and Internet Partnership Radio with an update on Hurricane Bertha this evening. And taking a look at the Atlantic from a view far away, you can see we have a couple of features. First of all, Bertha has certainly gotten better organized over the last 24 hours and is a strong Category 2 hurricane. It may even be a major hurricane. We have a small tropical wave approaching the southern Windward Islands. This should move through, shouldn't do much, maybe some heavy rain. And then off Africa, you can see we saw this wave move off, and it's getting a bit more interesting down here. And the GFS computer model indicates that this should generally move towards the Caribbean islands over the next several days. So we'll keep an eye on this one. But here's the latest on Hurricane Bertha as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It was at 24.8 north, 58.1 west. Maximum sustained winds were up to 105 miles an hour, so it was a Category 2 hurricane again. And winds could be gusting as high as 125, and that movement is off to the northwest at 11 miles an hour, 970 millibars. Now the track here should be, first of all, the hurricane should strengthen back into a major hurricane, and I guess that it may be one right now based on satellite. And then it should start to bend a little to the north and then off to the northeast, but we're talking 5 days here, still not moving. We keep seeing the track not really moved this far, even though our days go by. So we're not going to get rid of Bertha anytime soon. And note, Bermuda is still back in the cone now, and we could see some impact from it potentially. We're not sure exactly where the eye will go and where those pretty nasty winds will head either. Here's the visible satellite loop as the sun goes down. You can definitely see towards the end there the eye was clearing out very nicely, and was probably even a major hurricane as we speak. Very likely is forecast to become one by the National Hurricane Center. And right there at the end, note the eye wall, the sun hitting the eastern eye wall. Very, very impressive outflow and symmetry to it. So Bertha is back at least for the next 24 hours or so. Now here's the colorized AVN yesterday, and you can see it was getting sheared. It was looking a bit ragged. The convection was bursting. No eye feature. 24 hours later, clearly it has an eye feature. But note the little opening here on the southwest eye wall. That's an indication that maybe it's not going to be strengthening further than that, but nevertheless a lot more fanning out, a lot more favorable than it was on the water vapor loop yesterday. Kind of getting decoupled almost from the shear, not looking all that good, 75 miles an hour. Now, definitely a much stronger and better organized hurricane as it has that symmetry to it, and we'll continue to watch Bertha as it moves in this direction. Now, the models continue to show that it's going to be slow, but generally to the north and northeast. Right now, though, Bermuda is way too close for comfort, and people in Bermuda should begin to get their hurricane plans ready in case Bertha gets close enough at least to cause maybe even some power outages and definitely high seas. You don't know how close exactly Bertha will get to the island, but somewhere in here, and as it pulls north it should move out, but again it could always get left behind, move slower, get stronger, weaker. It's very uncertain at this point in time. Now here's the wind shear from it. You can see currently it's moving into an area of higher wind shear. Out here is much more favorable, but that is probably a little bit too far to the west. Don't think Bertha's going to get that far. If it did, it would be in a very favorable environment. Instead, it's going to turn further east, but again, there is uncertainty in that. You can see it better on the shear tendencies. Note how low shear is off Africa and in the central Atlantic near the islands, in the Gulf of Mexico out here. And we're about half a month away from the start of the real activity in August, September. Looks like it's going to be a very active hurricane season. In the final analysis, Bertha is sitting right here as a Category 2, maybe even a 3 hurricane at this point. Note this little tail end here kind of helping vent the hurricane a little bit. That's what happened last time it strengthened. And Bertha should round about here and begin that north and northeast turn, but where it occurs is going to be critical to the island of Bermuda, which you can see sitting right here. And regardless, you could already see some of the outer bands are encroaching on Bermuda, and Bermuda you will get in the cloud shield, no doubt, unless this thing suddenly jaunts to the right. As far as the eastern seaboard, maybe some high swells from it. Certainly up here in the Canadian Maritimes area you could get some high swells, but the worst weather within the eye wall is right here, and it's still too early to say if that eye wall will get close enough to Bermuda. At this point, I think it looks good that it won't, but you do have tropical storm and hurricane force winds beyond that you'll have to watch out for. Now, that wave off Africa yesterday, you could see it moved off and fizzled, but it was still around. 24 hours later, you could see it's a little bit better organized in here, right in this region here, and the GFS pointed that something might develop even further below 10 north by the time the wave gets in this region here, so watch it. Right now, it doesn't look all that great. We have more even moving off behind that we'll have to keep an eye on as well. And pretty much that's the only game in town. The East Pac, we have some invest areas, but nothing to speak of there. So that'll do it for this time. I'm Mike Naso, and I'll see you next time. Stay tuned.